Hi, I'm John Kerry with the Washoe County Republican Party, and I'm sitting here with Ron Knecht, the previous comptroller for the state of Nevada. Ron did some wonderful things with the comptroller's office, especially in transparency of the budget, etc. And Ron also has never been indicted. so, to start.
When I was a Democrat, that was a big point.
Yeah. Or impeached. So, to start off our Q&A, Ron, what are the main social, political, and economic problems we face today?
John, I think they fall into two groups: the economic political group and the cultural.
So what are the economic political problems?
They are the continuing and growing overreach of government, both domestically and in international affairs. Here at home, this means excess spending and taxing and borrowing by government at all levels since about 1960. And that excess, by the way, keeps growing every decade. It also means the ever-growing excess in regulation of all kinds: health, safety, environmental, and economic. That growth of regulation is helping the excess government spending depress economic growth.
Yes, it seems like the government wants to get into every aspect of our life. What do you think the effect in practical terms of this growing government excess in spending, taxing, and borrowing and regulation is?
Well, the excess is quite obvious. The effect is quite obvious. From the 1960s to the Great Recession, we had real per person growth in incomes of about 2 to 2.5% per year. During that time, the growth in government excess was offset by favorable trends in population growth, labor force participation, debt, both public and private, foreign trade, and international economic growth. But since then, all those favorable trends have been reversed or slowed, and the growth in government spending, regulation, etc., has continued. So for the last decade, our per person income growth has been less than half of what we all had growing up.
And so what do you think this means for Nevadans?
Well, per person real growth at 2 to 2.5% per year means that incomes, wealth, and overall human well-being double each generation, from the parents to the children. This is a recipe for real progress: medical cures, better diets, living standards higher of all kinds, and for general human happiness. Less than half as much growth, though, is a recipe for unhappiness, for economic stagnation, for political polarization, and for the social upheaval that we've seen in recent years. All that will continue for as long as we have slow growth. And with continued government excess and the other problems driven by public policy, these problems may continue for a long time.
And what's been the government excess in foreign affairs?
Well, with the collapse of the Soviet evil empire, which thankfully we helped precipitate, our foreign and intelligence deep state folks looked for new adventures to keep them employed and keep their numbers growing. Certainly Islamofascism is a major problem, but it doesn't justify our continued involvement in war in the Mideast and elsewhere. The Trump administration is doing better on this and on more strategic responses to our next major international problem, the ever-aggressive Chinese state.
And what are the cultural problems?
Sadly, essentially, we're raising children and encouraging college students and adults to be sissies with participation trophies, trigger warnings, safe spaces, all that sort of stuff. This, coupled with more government overreach in social and political matters, is leading to an inversion of fundamental historic values and rights such as freedom of speech and religion, due process and the presumption of innocence, and Second Amendment self-defense.
And so what do you think the upshot of all this is?
My wife Kathy and I have an 18-year-old daughter, Karen. The first thing we do is to live a good life as spouses, parents, friends, neighbors, and citizens. Second, stay politically active to leave all our children and heirs a better legacy in life. And that's why I'm happy to be part of the efforts of the Washoe County Republican Party.
Great. Appreciate that, Ron. And absolutely, I think the participation in government and in politics is the best thing that we can all do.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Ron.
Hello, everyone. I'm Valerie Michael with the Washoe County Republican Party. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to like us, share us, and leave us a comment. If you'd like to volunteer some time, a few hours a week or even a few hours a month, or if you'd like to donate, please visit us at www.washoegop.org. Thank you. See you next time.